What if the first woman in Eden wasn't Eve, but someone who refused to obey? What if the story we were told about sin, submission, and exile was really about power, autonomy, and desire?
And today we're stepping into the shadows to meet Lilith, the original rebel, the wild feminine, and the part of us that refuses to be silenced. Lilith's story is older and deeper than most people realise.
Yeah.
It weaves through myth, astrology, and our own inner lives. She shows up wherever truth and power have been repressed.
Yeah.
And before we go further, if you listen to our last episode on Pluto's move into Aquarius, direct motion, you might remember we didn't unpack the basics of a birth chart. So this time, before diving into Lilith herself, we'll start there, because understanding your birth chart is the foundation everything rests on. We were very surprised, weren't we, Yvie, to see that we had 11,000 views on Pluto. So that was exciting.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And just a quick content note before we begin. This episode includes mythology that mentions miscarriage and infant death. If that feels too heavy for you today, please take care of yourself and maybe come back to this one. Once we've set the foundation with charts, we'll step fully into Lilith's mystery, her mythology, her shadow, and the power she offers when we dare to embody her energy.
So your birth chart, or natal chart, is a snapshot. It's a photograph of the sky at the exact moment and place that you were born. And it shows where all the planets were positioned in relation to Earth at that time. It's like your cosmic blueprint, your energetic DNA, revealing your strengths and your lessons and your challenges and those repeating patterns that we all keep experiencing, that you keep meeting in different forms.
Yeah, as individual as a fingerprint, unique to everyone.
And even if they have the same birth chart,
yeah,
they will use it a different way, which
it.
we'll go into in a moment.
Yes, how the soul chooses to use it exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing to remember is your chart shows potential, not destiny. It's like being handed a car, maybe a sleek car, a sports car, maybe a sturdy old Land Rover. But how you drive it is entirely up to you. You can take it on adventures, you can keep it maintained, or you can crash it into a wall. The energy itself isn't good or bad. It's how you work with it that matters.
So if you're given a hammer, you could build a house, or you can destroy a building. It's up to you what you do with your birth chart.
Yes.
That's our free will.
Yes, we have that level of control, what we do with it.
And that's the key for today, because Lilith, like everything else in astrology, can be expressed consciously or unconsciously. It can instigate healing or be directed destructively, self-sabotage.
Yeah.
The self-undoing.
Exactly.
And your natal chart never changes. But the planets in the sky, of course, are always moving. They carry on. Those movements are called transits. So if you think of your chart as a house and the transiting planets as visitors, some knock politely, some breeze through the kitchen, and some burst into your bedroom uninvited.
Yeah, I'm feeling that with the Mercury, Mars in Scorpio at the moment.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, just
setting off my
bit.
T-square.
Yeah, so when a planet connects with something in your chart, it activates that part of you. So at the moment, Mercury and Mars are in my third house. So I'm feeling that on a mental level. I'm feeling quite busy. My mind's quite busy. So I'm remembering to ground myself.
And that's transiting Mercury.
Yeah, exactly. And these are what bring movement and change, these transits. So when we talk about transiting Lilith, we mean where Lilith is in the sky right now and what she's lighting up for you within your chart. Your natal Lilith, the one in your birth chart, shows where your inner wildness lives all the time since birth.
That's your power.
So what is Lilith? When astrologers talk about her, they usually mean Black Moon Lilith, the lunar apogee. This is the point in the moon's orbit that's farthest from Earth. There's no planet there. It's a calculated point in space, but energetically it's powerful, like the moon's shadow, the place of exile, distance and mystery.
And that ties beautifully into her mythology.
Yeah.
She was the one who was cast out, who chose separation rather than submission.
Yeah.
Lilith's energy actually predates modern astrology. She was incorporated into Babylonian star law, and some traditions even link her with the serpent who tempted Eve, the symbol of forbidden wisdom, of awakening through defiance. And in early Hebrew myth, Lilith was Adam's first wife. Unlike Eve, she wasn't made from his rib, but from the same earth. They were equals.
Yeah, that's very important, isn't it? They were equal. And the trouble began when Adam demanded dominance. He wanted her to lie beneath him so he could face his creator, the earth. She refused, saying, "We were made from the same source. Why should I lie beneath you?" When he wouldn't relent, she spoke the sacred name of God, claiming her own divine authority and actually gaining some of his power. And with that, she left. She left the garden.
She went. And people call her a demon, don't they?
They do, but symbolically, it's not about literal demons. It's about how autonomy and feminine truth get demonized when they refuse to conform. Lilith's myth is a story of awakening, of realizing you don't have to stay small just to be safe.
And And that was her moment of awakening. She chose exile over obedience, freedom over belonging. It's about choosing your authenticity over peacekeeping or fear of rocking the boat. And that takes courage.
Yeah, it
Societies over centuries have demonised her. A message from men to women to do as they're told, submit and serve unquestionably. And also part of that myth, Yvie, is that she was one of the variants of the myths, because there were many different versions of the myth, is that she was deemed responsible for stillbirths, miscarriages and deaths of children.
Absolutely. But actually she was indebted, because God actually asked her to repay the debt of speaking his name, and she was asked to bring forth 100 children a day to die. Actually, it was her responsibility, the debt she owed God. It wasn't something she wanted to do, and I think that's what people need to know.
And in astrology, Lilith represents that part of us, often the feminine part, and in men's charts, which we'll touch on in a moment, that refuses to be domesticated, refuses to be subservient. It's the part that says, and we all feel this sometimes, and Lilith comes up in us, I will not be silenced.
Yes.
She's the wild woman archetype. She's raw, instinctive, sensual, honest, and because she holds so much truth, she's also the most toxically repressed of all feminine archetypes.
Yeah, and when Lilith is activated in your chart, she can stir up some quite deep, painful feelings, stemming from childhood usually, and around shame and self-worth. But that's also her gift, because she's forcing us to see what's been buried so we can actually reclaim that as women.
Yes, she's not evil. She's truth in its purest, most unfiltered form. The negative energy or mythology around her is really a way of society repressing women and telling them to be good.
Yes.
And that's her gift. She forces you to see what's been buried so you can reclaim it again.
If you want to understand Lilith's energy more deeply, we can actually look to her sister archetype in Indian mythology, goddess Kali. Kali actually translates to time and destruction. She's the fierce goddess of courage, transformation and liberation. She wields a knife that cuts through illusion, tearing away lies and ego until only truth remains. People with strong Lilith placements often share this energy. They're truth speakers, even when the truth makes others uncomfortable.
And how often do we stem ourselves because we're afraid it'll make somebody uncomfortable? And women shouldn't. Women should smile. Women should say yes.
Yeah,
we shouldn't
we're
say
not
things.
as attractive if we speak out, you know.
No.
And both actually embody the dark feminine, I think, Lilith and Kali, as they know innately that true change comes from actually destruction in some form.
Yeah, she reminds us that destruction isn't always cruel. Somehow it's how we clear the way to freedom.
Yeah.
If you want to connect more deeply to Lilith, study Kali. Both goddesses show that destruction can lead to liberation.
Yeah.
We're not asking people to chaotically destroy their lives.
I think it's a subtle destruction, you know, that could just be a small change in your daily life. I think the word destruction has quite a bit of a negative connotation sometimes, but it actually means change.
Yeah. So astrologically, Black Moon Lilith takes about 9 months to move through each zodiac sign, which is interesting, the same rhythm as human gestation, and she completes a full cycle every 9 years. And in your chart, Lilith shows where you've been shamed, silenced or misunderstood, but also where your untamed power lies.
She thrives in bold signs like Aries, Scorpio, Leo and Sagittarius, where she can act from instinct and passion. And she can feel stifled in signs that crave control or harmony, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or Cancer, where she challenges the comfort of order.
And you and I both have Lilith and Capricorn. And although Lilith is associated with the dark moon and the feminine, the sign of Capricorn is associated with the male energy and fathers.
Saturn,
and Yvie and I have both had, what would we say? How would we phrase it, Yvie, about our fathers?
I think we've had to learn to become our own fathers, our own authority figures, and actually become a healthy role model for ourselves, as we didn't always find that.
That's a very good point, good way of putting it. And remember, there are no bad placements in any planet.
Not.
Yeah, any planet, any sign. It's how we use it. Lilith, whatever sign she's in, simply shows where your liberation work lives.
Yeah.
Where the place where you reclaim what's been buried and make it sacred and powerful again.
Yeah.
When you repress your Lilith, when you push her down or pretend she's not there, she doesn't disappear. She just moves underground and starts pulling the strings from the shadows.
Yeah.
So you may find events or experiences seem to be happening to you, out of your control, repeated issues coming along in various contexts. This is Lilith showing you what you need to work on to release your power.
Yeah.
For example, if Lilith brings situations where people take advantage of you or are abusive in some way.
Yeah, that's when you might start attracting people who act out your own disowned wildness, or sabotage yourself when you get too close to freedom. It can show up as jealousy, control, addiction, or that feeling of being too much in a situation or not enough for someone.
Absolutely. And what we don't consciously work through is shown to us by our external experiences. I mean, I was thinking about this. It might be because our higher self creates situations that are intended to help us to develop, to learn from, or from a psychological perspective, it's the way that we interpret situations through the lens of our subconscious. What we expect from people is what we see. Psychologists call this unconscious projection. Spiritual paradigms might call it karma.
Yeah.
There are many different ways of looking at it, aren't there?
Absolutely, many lenses.
But that energy just wants expression. If you don't claim it consciously, it leaks out unconsciously. Working with Lilith is about asking, what part of me got exiled? What part of me was shut down? What part of me was closed off? And daring to welcome it home.
Absolutely, it's that part of you that feels like you were shunned, or where your power was dissolved, or tried to be controlled. And actually that's where our real strength lies. So once you integrate Lilith, that energy will become magnetic to those around you. You'll stop performing and you'll start being in your authenticity. You'll stop apologising for existing or shrinking to make others comfortable.
Interesting word, performing, isn't it? Because actually that's really true, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I guess it's true for men and women, but for women especially, we are meant to behave a certain way.
Unless we have so many hats that we have to wear, there is almost that fallback of maybe I should perform because I need to be so many things.
There's a lot demanded of us, isn't there? In our little, in our worlds and in our heads. It's the repressed part of us that never gets a chance to express itself, and that's where we become frustrated, stressed, depressed, anxious.
Yeah, and it affects our health, because we're actually abandoning our own power.
And the beautiful part is when you reclaim your own wilderness, you give everybody around you permission to do the same.
Yes.
It's not rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's sovereignty, the freedom to live as your whole, unedited self. If you want to work with your own Lilith, start by finding where she sits in your natal chart, both her sign and her house placing.
If you'd like to know where Lilith sits in your chart, drop us a message and we'll let you know. Lilith is the key to your primal strength and courage. She'll give you answers to questions like, where have I been told I'm too much? Where have I dimmed my light or stayed quiet to fit in? That's your Lilith territory.
As we touched on before, remember, this isn't about causing chaos, it's about finding truth. Start small, say no when you mean no, and speak what feels real. Set boundaries that honour who you are.
Yeah, and that's how you'll bring Lilith home, gently, bravely and powerfully.
And then I was thinking we haven't touched very much on how Lilith impacts men's birth charts, because of course it's the feminine energy, and often you'll find in a man's birth chart it'll relate to the women he's attracted to, the lessons he may learn around power, around femininity, about the balance, and often because although the moon in astrology is connected with the mother, Lilith is the feminine, so he may experience Lilith through the relationship with his mother.
Or I'm thinking the repressed wounds or the latent wounds of the mothers that he's now carrying in his unconscious, and then if he isn't able to integrate and work through that pain, he may meet that in the women and the relationships around him until he's able to integrate that into his emotional psyche.
So he'll keep finding the same woman in different forms.
In repetition, exactly.
Yeah. So Lilith isn't the villain. She's the mirror that reflects the part of us that refuses to conform, even when it costs us comfort or approval. She reminds us that power isn't always polite and nice and sweet.
No.
Sometimes it's wild, messy, and deeply human. To embrace her is to reclaim your wholeness, to honour your intuition, your anger, your desire, your truth.
If you'd like to know where Lilith sits in your chart, message us with your date, time, year, and place of birth, and we'll tell you what it means for you. And join us again on the 14th of November, my birthday, when we'll keep exploring the stars, the stories, and the shadow sides of the cosmos. Until then, stay curious, stay grounded, and honour the wild within.
Your truth, your life, your power, your freedom. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.